Did you know that in 1965 to 1973, all 50 states banned abortion? The ban caused women to do drastic measures. In the 2 decades before abortion was legal in the U.S., nearly 1 million women went underground each year for illegal operations. Thousands died for lack of medical care, as stated on justfacts.com. Abortion has been performed for thousands of years and in every society that has been studied, as noted on prochoice.com. The first recorded evidence of induced abortion is from the Egyptian Ebers Papyrus in 1550 BC, and that was stated on wikipedia.org. According to Chinese folklore, the legendary Emperor Shennong prescribed the use of mercury to induce abortions nearly 5,000 years ago. There's many different types of abortions, and in the ancient times they were mostly non-surgical, and they would do physical activities such as strenuous labor, climbing, paddling, weightlifting, and even diving. They would also use arrowroot leaves, fasting, and bloodletting, and that was stated on wikipedia.org. And in the present time, there have different types of procedures depending on how late the pregnancy is. And if it's 8 weeks, they use suction aspiration, and then they also use dilation and curettage, and that's when they use a knife and a vacuum and suck it out. And then at 18 weeks, they use dilation and evacuation, and that's kind of like the same thing. And then they use salt poisoning, in which they make a strong salt concentrate and put it in a needle and inject the fetus, and that will poison it. And then at 6 months, they use prosglana chemical abortion, which they use chemicals to get the uterus to contract very strongly, which causes the baby to come out, but on the process, when it's coming out, it usually dies. And there's been some cases of decapitation and stuff. And they also use hysterectomy or hysterectomy section. And then at 30 weeks, they have a partial birth abortion, and that doesn't happen very often, but it can happen. And then abortion in the U.S., Joan Johnson Lewis states, in the United States, abortion laws began to appear in the 1820s, forbidding abortion after the 4th month of pregnancy. Also stated by Lewis, through the efforts of primarily of physicians, the American Medical Association, and legislators, most abortions in the U.S. had been outlawed by 1900. In 1965, all 50 states banned abortion, with exceptions which vary from state to state, and that was on www.womenhistory.com. And the exceptions were if the mother's life was in danger, then they could get an abortion, or if it was rape or incest, and then if the fetus was deformed, that would also be a reason. And then in 1973, there was a case in the Supreme Court of Roe v. Wade, and that declared that most existing state abortion laws were unconstitutional, and the Roman Catholic Church opposed this, and that caused the two movements of pro-choice, which people are for abortion and don't care, and then pro-life, which people are against it and they think it's murdering a child and stuff. And then international law, it varies from region to region, which some regions they don't have any laws at all, and then there's some regions that it's illegal and they have no exceptions at all, and it just won't happen. And then the U.S. law is teens under 18. In certain states they need parental consent, and some states they need permission, and then other states they don't need any permission or consent at all. And 49% of pregnancies among American women are unintended. Almost half are terminated by abortions, and that was stated on infoplease.com. And here I have a chart of the abortion rate, or how long they wait to get the abortions, and at 8 weeks, it's like 60% of women usually get their abortion, and then 9 to 10 weeks, it's about 20, and then 11 to 12, it's about 10, and then 13 to 15, it's about 6, and 16 to 20 weeks, it's only about 4, and then 21 weeks or more, it's only about 1.5%. And then no one should have the right to tell women what to do with their bodies. The time period when abortion was illegal in the United States, thousands of women died or were severely injured due to the lack of medical attention they were getting right after their abortion. I believe women should have the right to get an abortion if they want. Accidents do happen, and some people are not stable enough and ready to have a child. I am pro-choice, and I have given you information about the topic. Now it's up to you to decide if you're pro-life or pro-choice. It's your decision. I also have a chart of pro-life, how many people say they were pro-choice and pro-life, and it's about even, with 47% are pro-choice and 46% are pro-life. And then mixed in undecided are like 3%, and no opinion is 1%. And then 53% think it's morally wrong, which is more than pro-choice. And then only 38% think it's morally acceptable. And there's 1% that think it's no opinion. That's my speech.